Okay, everybody, hello and welcome to the second game of today. We've got Vega Squadron versus Team Ad Finem. I'm Llama Down Under. I'm gonna be joined by Scansor. And hopefully this one isn't just ended
Radiant
by
team ban.
huge big mega creeps.
Yeah,
Anyways.
that was a pretty exciting end to the game. I mean, the Beastmaster TP'd in as well. Had his
Yeah.
aura, had his Necro auras, really helped them to finish the throne. So, but very back and forth, very sharp turns in that game. It
10
looked like
seconds remaining.
Adfinem were really going to struggle. Then suddenly it looked like Vega were really going to struggle. Then again, it looked like
5
Adfinem were
seconds
really going to
remaining.
struggle, and then they won. So that puts Adfinem up to 4 wins, 1 loss, I think. Vega Squadron currently also at 4 wins, 1
Vega
loss. I
squadrons turn
believe
to
that if
ban.
either of them makes it to 5 wins, as in whichever one wins this game, it will almost certainly be locked for the top two in the group.
Radiant team
Because
pick.
there's 2 teams in the group that already cannot possibly get to 5 wins. That's Rebels and Spirit. Virtus Pro, I think,
Vega
could get to
squadrons
5 for
turn
3,
to pick.
but again, it's. I mean, they currently have to play 2 games against Spirits, and then they're still gonna have 2 games against Adfinem. The high likelihood is that the team that wins this game is locked for top 2. I mean, there's a possibility of both these teams making it, but the point is, there's a
10
lot on the
seconds
line in this
remaining.
individual game.
Yeah, both teams super
5
important. And
seconds remaining.
on the other side of the bracket, in case you're not up to date, it is, I
Vega
believe, No
squadrons
Diggity has
turn to
secured
pick.
their position. Like, there's no way they can be out. No Diggity.
Yeah, the group's over. I think they won the
Oh.
group, and Empire took
Radiant
second,
team
as
pick.
far as
Okay.
I understand.
Well, yeah, they are Dunzo over there. So if you guys want an update on that, all of your favorite Costa, everyone, going well has a good chance of going to a major. Let's get back into this one. Vega Squadron going with the Witch Doctor Puck.
10
No
seconds
one.
remaining.
I mean, I actually think everybody played really well in that game except for the occasional
5
team
seconds
fight which went
remaining.
wrong for each team. No one's puck is fantastic. It's very slippery. It's very hard to lock down. And Ad Finem, they want to lock it down. There's going to be Primal Roar and Slithering Crush coming at this puck's face.
They denied them the Slaughter pick. Which I feel like, I want to say if we compare the
Radiant
safe laners from
team
last game, the
ban.
Slaughter to the Void, I prefer the Slaughter. They both have the similar style of like not being true carries, getting involved early. I mean, the Void did plenty last game, but I think that having the Slaughter is probably more valuable, and more importantly, out for them to get that first pick Beastmaster, which I think it's the
10
MVP of the
seconds
last game.
remaining.
I think it's responsible for the game turned around because of pickoffs that were set up by the
5 seconds
Beastmaster. He
remaining.
was the one that was pushing. He was the one that let them get those Raxes when they had
Vega
the openings.
squadrons
He's the
turn
one who
to
killed the
ban.
throne in there. So
Clearly, the only
Beastmaster,
one that matters.
well, the most important in my opinion. I think
No, I agree.
the pick did a lot for them. The player, obviously, who was piloting the pick, did a lot for them. So Advenom will get off to a good start having that Beastmaster in their draft again this game.
Radiant team
The
ban.
other thing I want to stress about the Beastmaster, you mentioned the pushing, but to me, what really opened up the map for Advenom to get back into it was taking both of the towers in top lane. It just freed up the jungle completely and made it so much easier for Beastmaster to get work
10
done,
seconds
or for the rest of
remaining.
Advenom to get work done. Now, interestingly, I
5
obviously we weren't
seconds
in
remaining.
the first lobby, we're in this one now. I don't know whether Advenom picked side or
Reserve time.
pick because they are Radiant twice so far.
Yeah.
And I think they might be a team who prefers Radiant because they play a lot on Radiant, but I'm not 100% sure on that one.
I mean, conventionally teams prefer Radiance for the laning stage and for pushing. That's like the kind of like, I don't know, there's been this view that it's slightly easier to push from the Radiant side because of the positioning of the defensive positioning of the Dire Towers, and there's been this view that in terms of how you gank into the lanes and how the jungles work up, people have thought historically, you know, the
Vega
Radiant gets better value
squadrons
early
turn
on.
to pick.
Those things Icefog has been working very hard against though recently. So you can see the Dota team are
Enchantress.
trying to set up the game such that there's advantages for Radiant and
Radiant
Dire, there's
team
advantages for
pick.
first and second pick. And so it's probably like moving forward in the next few months gonna come apart a lot more. We'll see teams picking all of the 4 options. But yeah, that's if I had to guess at why they choose Radiant, it's got to do with those kind of factors. And they do, I mean, they
10
do have a first pick
seconds
Beastmaster,
remaining.
so pushing's definitely a thing.
5 seconds remaining.
Enchantress for Vega Squadron. We've seen a lot of Enchantress recently. Do you think this is going to be the support of the
Reserve
offlane just
time.
because a lot of teams are very flexible with it right now, especially
It's
with the changes?
It's usually the supports these days. The offlane Enchantress has not been that popular recently, and also for Vega Squadron in particular, Solo is the guy who plays it. Like, I have no doubt that Matt could play it, but this is like one of Solo's main heroes. So I think that if you add Finem, you'll you'll hazard a guess that they still need to pick their offlaner. They've picked both their supports. You're right. It could change, but you expect it to be solo Enchantress.
Now, Adfinem, they have a couple nice things to deal with the Enchantress from the standpoint of they've got some good physical damage that they can throw at her that doesn't care about untouchable, but it does not feel like a Slaughter and a Beastmaster may be super able to bring her down. Do you worry about that here? Because you've already got, I think, a lot of good lockdown for the puck, ways to stop the Witch Doctor from channeling the ulti, and they're gonna go for Dazzle. So there's a lot of physical damage here.
Yep. There's the armor reduction strategy. It's also a lot of push. Vega Squadron now go for the Void themselves, so I think they will run the Void in the off lane, not on the safe lane, and had Finem pick the Riki. So the only team I've seen picking Riki recently in these qualifiers is actually Vega Squadron themselves. They were playing solo on the Riki, roaming all the time, and had Finem take a page out of their book and say, you know, we can play Riki too. And I will tell you something. A lot of these top MMR players have top professional players in pubs. They have high MMR, and high MMR EU pubs recently. Riki has kind of been trending as that roaming support hero, played almost in the bounty hunter style. It's possible that Adfinem could still be running this Riki as some kind of core, but I think it'll probably be the style that Vega have been successful with, the solo style where it roams around, especially because solo's on the Enchantress this game, which means that Riki can just follow the hero around. It's an easy way to get those early levels, and that's the only part of the game that's difficult for the roaming Riki. The hero is very effective once you have your early levels.
Radiant team
Templar
pick.
Assassin.
Vega squadrons turn to pick.
It's gonna be the Templar again. I don't know. The Riki is cute. It should be interesting. This will be my first professional Riki game to cast, so I'm pretty excited to see this. But I like the TA. Obviously, Adfinem, a hero they're very comfortable with. Thug, despite being very behind in the early game, able to make a big
5
comeback.
seconds
I mean, it's like you should compare Riki to Bounty Hunter because it does a similar thing, and then just consider the differences. The big difference is that Riki doesn't have track, right? In terms of damage, Bounty Hunter has Shuriken bounces, which is quite a lot, but Riki's got much better physical attacks with the ulti, with the blink strike, just with the backstab. But also Riki has the smoke screen, which is really, really good for winning fights, for ganks, and that's something that I think pushes Riki over the edge sometimes. If you could choose between both, let's say Bounty Hunter wasn't banned, chances are usually teams are still picking Bounty whenever they can. But what's becoming clearer and clearer from at least the times I've seen Vega run it is that Riki is a viable option for when Bounty's not in the pool to do something kind of similar to the Bounty. And then he's got different benefits and costs, different pros and cons to the hero compared to the Bounty, but it's for early on at least, it's a very similar playstyle. He's gonna start with the Orb of Venom. He's gonna get boots as quickly as possible, and he's gonna try and harass people, help the mid lane, help harass the enemy supports, and go irritate the jungler.
Yeah, this should be. I'm pretty excited for this. It's either going to be pretty impactful. I think I feel like it's going to go one of two ways, right? It's going to be pretty impactful, or it's going to kind of fall flat on its face. The nice thing about the Riki as well, forcing them to buy so much detection. You get into these diminishing returns for your supports because they're always buying detection. You're putting down sentries. You need to make sure your sentries are around obs if you want to detect the Riki moving into your jungle. And then randomly throwing dusts, because I'm sure that'll happen. Someone will think the Riki's nearby. It just wastes a lot of gold for Vega.
I'm very curious to see what Solo's plan is actually as the Enchantress, because he's the guy who's been pioneering the Riki in competitive, and you know he'll probably have some kind of good idea about what the weaknesses of the hero might be. Maybe that's what they're busy discussing. Maybe his captain's saying to him, you know, you've been telling me to pick this Riki for you all the time. Okay, well, what did you struggle against when you played the Riki? They're taking a really long time on their last pick here.
I mean, I would both of these drafts actually. Oh, okay. So this is this is some good ways of getting rid of the refraction charges on Templar, and obviously, you know, you've got some other support here. You can maybe pick off the Dazzle if he's alone. Other than that, though, feels a little like a bit of an ambitious slot game.
I mean, you can take off Slaughter's amplified damage, which is really nice, and also, you like in terms of roaming later on after the lane stage, Slox is pretty good against Riki because he'll know, oh, okay, someone's nearby. I lost my thing. So, I think Slock's a pretty good pick all round. A lot of people have been saying that Slock is just buffed in the current meta with the current patch. There's a lot of things going for him. I've seen occasionally some slots by Echo Saber. That's something that can work. But also
Prepare
the
for
Silver
battle.
Edge, like the Shadow Blade that Slark likes to buy, the Silver Edge is much better than it was before. So I think that's a pretty big buff to the hero too.
Very much. What was FN going to say? I want to know. Oh well.
Hey
Um,
Teal.
Hey,
He was just
that's-
saying hi. He likes him. They
Oh,
met at
I
the
guess
LAN
it's like. Oh
and-
no! There we go. There we go. Oh,
Do not-
someone. Yeah,
do
I'm not.
open the
Last last time I opened a link that was said in a lobby, it was a really weird song. It was like the players felt very passionately about how good a song was and wanted to share it with the world.
Okay, so by the way, maybe next time I started with a Windlass, not an Orb of Venom. And I'm pretty sure when Solo roams the Riki, he starts the Orb of Venom. I also think most of the
30
Rikis I've seen
seconds to battle.
in pubs do start with the Orb of Venom, so it's an interesting change. I mean, it's very nice to get both. I've seen many Rikis start with the Orb and then quickly get the Windlass. But to have the lace over the orb suggests something kind of different, because if you want to harass people early on, the orb's much more useful, whereas when it's similar to bounty hunters recently who've started with boots instead of starting with orb of venom. They want to move around the map more, be in different places quickly, and follow people, snipe couriers, those sorts of things.
The battle
It'll be interesting to see what maybe next time does early on in this game.
A prize.
One rune apiece. Maybe next time still just wandering around. He's got 2 sentries and an obs on him, so you could feel free to place those. And actually, yeah, already getting a sentry out here, so that Puck will have an idea if maybe next time comes down through this path.
He wants to stalk the Enchantress to start with, who, she's gone back to the courier, make sure there's no courier snipe, fetches herself, gonna bring it out to the mid laner, and Ricky's just Enchantress shouldn't be allowed to farm unless Ricky can also get value. That's kind of what he's doing. But now he'll see the Enchantress in the mid lane and maybe wander off, or he could wait for her to come out and see where she goes to farm.
There are already quite a few dire sentries being placed here. I mean, when you take a look, there's one in the top lane as well. Obviously, there's the one in the mid lane. Mag taking a bit of harassment here. He, of course, will be able to time walk away. While in mid, Thug and No One just having fun with each other. This is another really common matchup. So I imagine it'll just kind of come down to skill. The Puck and the Templar should both played a lot on this.
Yeah, Puck's gonna try harass TA a lot early on while the refraction charges can still come off quite easily, but later on it's gonna be just farm. Everyone farms, and when you look at this, Enchantress is yet to get a creep. 0 XP Enchantress. I mean, sure, Ricky has, but Ricky also has 0 XP, but I think he cares less. I think he's quite happy to dedicate his time to keeping this Enchantress down, because Enchantress has a devastating effect on lane. That's what she's meant to do, with the early creeps, with the fast rotations. And Ricky is, he's meant to just be a bit annoying. His job isn't to get that much done, so if he's getting nothing done, but Enchantress is getting nothing done, that's a win for Ricky.
Now, the downside, obviously, is that it feels like if Ricky doesn't get anything done as he scales into the later game, it's going to be less impactful.
No, it doesn't matter. He's not. I mean, he'll build into something useful like a diffusal blade or a drum, but he's not. They're not seeing him as the carry. It's difficult to explain. It's just like I feel like the Enchantress pick is actually quite a bad pick if you're not able to get this early value off it. And
a lot of damage being taken by Beastmaster on top. This should be first blood. Oh, he pops the salve, and he won't go down to the Maledict.
In the jungle, they actually... I just keep watching them, because this is, for me, the most interesting part of the game.
This
They're starting to trade some hits with each other.
Well, also, they have... Solo picked up the Purge creep, and of course sent it immediately to be a pain to the Templar in mid. So we have Puck jumping in as well. Thug has no refraction charges because, of course, no mana due to this pesky creep. And Puck
the mana
gonna
burn
do...
creep.
Puck doing a lot of damage there.
Yeah, so that's kind of a small successful Enchantress, getting something done, at least, by sending a creep away. But okay, Skylark's coming with the boy here, and this Enchantress doesn't have Untouchable yet, so this might now be a kill, being blocked by maybe next time.
Really good job there by maybe next time. Enchantress, she's for sure going down. She's gonna try to get the kill on Skylark first, but will be unable to. Where is the next shockwave? There we go, gets the kill onto Skylark as well.
So that's actually fine for Solo, because he gets the trade. He's still really unhappy about the fact that he's got no levels yet in this game, but... let's say if he hadn't gotten that kill, it would have been the start of this game would be really, really bad for this Enchantress.
Now, Mag in bottom, he is actually getting quite a bit of farm. Obviously, Madar is the one farming up a storm there, but it's not like Mag is having too much trouble. And Dazzle has just been pulling. He's got the point up in Poison Touch instead, trying to use that to help zone the Faceless Void, but it's not really doing enough.
Yeah, Enchantress is coming across the other side now, maybe gonna try and cause some trouble. Again, still level 1. Not gonna go for the Dazzle, she's moving back towards that mid lane. But maybe next time it's managed to get Boots, Windlace, and Orb of Venom now, so... You know, if Enchantress comes and gets involved, I feel like the Riki does more at this point, although he's very low HP right now.
Do you try, if you're the Riki roaming, to also get a Lightstone or something? Like, just for being more of a pain, or...?
I have seen that before, although I've not seen Windlace and Orb of Venom and Blightstone. It's usually 2 of the 3. So I think with these 2 that'll be enough, and he'll go for trades next. And he's found the Enchantress, still level 1 Enchantress.
Oh yeah, they are just hanging out together. Oh my
Ricky's
goodness.
just gonna steal XP, try and steal the last hit too.
Yep, and he gets it. And Enchantress, still level 1. Feels good, man. Oh, Ricky will turn invisible again, and poor Solo, all he has is a smoke? 1, 2, 2. This is very comical.
I think if there's someone who could look it up right now, I think this might be the first time an Enchantress has still been level 1 at 5 minutes in a pro game. It's really bad. Like, she's gonna get level 2 soon, but it's... Ricky's made a huge dance on her in this game.
And obviously she's getting very little farm too, so he will not be that high impact hero they were hoping for. Finally, she gets the level 2. There we go. Taking a look around elsewhere, what do you think the larger game plans are? Because from Vega, they have a pretty dang good team fight coming out here with Chronosphere, the Dream Coil from Puck being available.
I mean, Vega...
As the game progresses, I mean, not now, of course.
Yeah, I obviously, I feel like the timings are actually a bit earlier for Finem this time, because they're the ones at the slaughter. Again, it's going to be Armlet into Blink and then fight. TA wants to get Desolator and Blink. Beastmaster wants to get Necro 3, whereas Vega are pretty happy for the farm game.
Oh, there's going to be a dust! Ricky, you've been seen, but immediately silencing up, trying to just run away. The Dream Coil dropped onto Thug. One more, no, can't get it. Nice phase shift there. Thug now having his charges of Refraction burnt down, and Thug should be the one to go down.
Yeah, very, very, very close trade-off there, and could easily have been the Puck going down. The double null build really paying off, I think. You have 1 null, you probably die there. But Pucks these days like to buy Veil, so you know, you can always use an extra null talisman.
So, nice little play there, managing to turn it around on the Templar Assassin. We'll see on the net worth, obviously, Puck's doing pretty well, but it's Slaughter topping the charts, followed by this Slog. He is going for a Midas. It's not always the build, as you mentioned, some people experimenting with Echo Saber, folks going for the Shadow Blade sooner because the Silver Edge is much better now.
Yeah, but I think this, again, it just feels like the way these lineups match up. Vega are hitting a slightly later timing, and that's the Midas makes sense in that regard. Like, when they hit their timing, Slark will be very difficult to deal with, but I do think there might be some earlier timings. For example, the Slaughter hitting Armlet and Blink, and at the stage where he does, Slark will probably not be ready to fight just yet.
Maybe next time is stalking solo. Seema's there too.
Beastmaster's raw.
Yeah, he just got Primal Roar. There's the dust going out onto maybe next time, but doesn't look like there'll be any follow-up.
Yeah, they have this high ground ward here, Vega. So as soon as the Beastmaster ran their way, they were like, okay, Ricky's on us. Time to dust. Get out of here.
Ricky gets to eat that ward, so he gets something there. Ricky as well, obviously. He's only level 3. I mean, how many games do we get of Dota 2 where we can say that 8 minutes in there are 2 level 3 heroes on the map? That's pretty uncommon.
Yeah, and when this does happen, it's almost always going to be because the one hero is trying to keep the other hero down and doesn't mind punishing themselves as a result. Now is being chased out a bit here. I think it's going to be fine. Dazzle actually gets an Invis rune, so both he and Ricky running in towards this Faceless Void. They could get a nice heal bomb, plus a silence, plus a stomp. They could actually kill this Void, I think, if they get the coordination correct.
They'll have to place the perfect smoke cloud. See if they can get it. There's a Slithering Crush opening up. There they go. Ow! As you said, the heal bomb just so fast, bringing down Mag.
It was always going to be kill if they got the stomp first, but it would have been a bit hard
Oh,
to use the
in
smoke
mid,
into
Thug in a lot of trouble. Dream Coil, Death Warded, going down. And Dazzle as well, coming in, maybe not exactly where he wanted to be. No one going for it, throws out the orb, and Dazzle, he was casting the Shallow Grave, unable to get it off. Falls.
So, in a weird way, Thug is actually having a slightly worse start, honestly, than he did last game. And last game we were talking about how the start didn't go so well for him, and then like it was impressive that he farmed his way back in. But this time there's no ancient stacks at all. Nothing ready for him, and he's starting to struggle. It doesn't help, obviously, if his support comes in to help him and dies as well. The puck's gonna continue to bully him in this lane, I think.
Actually, very similar to last game, we're going to see Slaughter. Of course, he's the safe lane farming Slaughter, so he's going to go first for the armlet, then start working on a blink. Ricky actually hits level 5 from taking some experience in mid, so he's doing a bit better, while Enchantress still on the level 4. But
yeah, that's gonna be the first big timing when Slaughter gets the blink, just like last game, pretty much. But even before that timing, it looks like Finem want to go for a smoke with their raw. See if they can make a kill. Ricky is scouting ahead.
They're gonna find a surprise that there are 4 heroes in the neighborhood. Whoever they try to pick off, they've got to be quick about it. And Puck actually jumps up into them, drops the Dream Coil, there's the Primal Roar. No one doesn't have Orb for 4 more seconds. The heal from Dazzle, though, doesn't do enough, and Slog has ended the fray. Shallow Grave comes out, they pick off the Puck, but the Death Ward smacking away onto Skylark, and he's in a lot of trouble. Madara throws out the Slithering Crush. Can they catch FN? Yes, they can. And now, Solo in a lot of trouble, slowed up here by the Templar Assassin Trap, but it looks like maybe Adfinem deciding it's time to get Chronosphered. Thug should be going down here. One more auto attack. She's standing under a sentry. They will try to give it a go onto Solo, ignoring that untouchable with those tricks of the trade. And I'm not sure who comes out on top here. Obviously, we have the amp damage. Seema pops out that Maledict, and they will end up losing everybody, I think.
Yeah, so a lot of kills on both sides. I think it's a win for Vega. But I mean, some of the kills were so long ago that they'd already respawned. Like the Puck, for example, who died right at the beginning. And I wanted to point out, but the fight was still going on, that if Ricky was a bounty hunter in this game, Puck wouldn't have died. That's like a perfect example where Puck thought that he was fine. The Raw didn't kill him. He was still very healthy after the Raw, and gets smokescreened by Ricky. And that skill is very punishing against the Puck. Whereas, you know, a bounty hunter can't really do much in that sense. Puck can just jump away from a bounty hunter at any time.
As you mentioned, Thug is really far behind, just like, okay, another Dream Coil coming out onto Thug is going to get Death Warded again. This just seems to be the game that they're playing repeatedly, bringing down Thug. This is just not a good Templar series.
Well, I mean, in the first game he did excellently after having a difficult start, but this game's going to be a totally different story because there's no ancient stack at all. There's no even jungle stacks for him, right? There's like a very tiny stack in his big camp. He's going to struggle. TA doesn't want to fight from behind in this sense. We talked last game about how it's easy to farm back in by farming stacks, but if you don't have the stacks and if you can't go to your lane, it's difficult as a TA.
She doesn't really have matchup options.
Skylark's
Is Enchantress? Yeah, I'm not sure if Solo can get the solo kill. Primal Roar comes out, taking some tower damage, but of course does. Oh no, Dazzle, what have you done? Runs right into the Slug, and now Dazzle in a lot of trouble. Shallow Grave comes out, but FN just going to chase under the tower with that Shadow Dance. And Dazzle, I don't think that was necessary.
Yeah, that's actually the second time that's happened. That the Spartans TB'd in somewhere to save someone, ended up dying himself. Well, bot lane, there's a Chronosphere onto the Slaughter, and that's gonna be a kill for Vega, so things are looking up for Vega Squadron. The TA is struggling, they're kind of rolling with the momentum, and I talked about the fact that there might be earlier timings for Adfinem, but we've kind of skipped past those. Slaughter got to his armlet, he hasn't gotten to his blink. Slark's got Midas, but he's on his way to his next item. Puck's got blink, so Vega are looking pretty strong right now.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
I do want to point out, of course, that it does look eerily similar to last game where Vega were ahead, but as you said, this time it doesn't look so easy to catch back up. Solo may go down here. There's the slow going out onto Solo. Ricky trying to do some good work on her. Has tricks of the trade at the ready. Trying to get ahead. Will not need it. And maybe next time gets himself a kill. Actually sitting at 2, 1, and 4. So this Ricky's had been involved in every single kill so far.
Yeah, I mean the tools are there for them to make a comeback. I think for the TA in particular, it's much more difficult than last game to make that comeback.
They are probably losing someone here. Can Ricky hide? Uses tricks at the trade to get on out. We have another engagement also with Faceless Void getting picked off by the Slaughter.
Yeah, and the Beastmaster. A little bit of help from the Raw and the Necros. They'll get the tower as well, so it's pretty good for Adfinem. While Vega are kind of chasing people around on the other side of the map, Adfinem are getting a kill and an objective.
Okay, there it is, another Dream Call. The Death Ward gonna be dropped. They don't have vision this time, but they have a lot of AoE damage. Thug getting healed up. This is the most questionable Death Ward. But yeah, just, I mean, it's been working just slightly off the mark, but in comes Ricky. Manages to silence, but Puck gets on out. There's a Slithering Crush. Seema will go. And now, no one should be able to orb away. Also has a blink, so be too hard.
Yep, and just like that, it's quite a big dent in like the lead that Vega had started establishing. As I said, Adfinem, there's plenty of avenues for them back into this game. Like, in fact, I still believe that their draft is the earlier timing. Like, they can peak it a little bit earlier. Slark really wants to get into another item. He's got his Midas, he's got his blink, he wants to get that next item before he's actually in an early peak. Which is quite a late early peak, but it is.
Oh, Slithering Crush going out onto the Slark. Of course, he was using the Dark Pact already. A little bit too late.
It's just about getting the TA back in there. But again, even without the Ancient Stack, she's only 1,000 gold behind the pack at this stage. So just by farming like single Ancient camps, occasional jungle camps, she's doing okay.
She's another Slithering Crush onto Mag now, the Primal Roar, and they bring him down. Skylark, just like last game, working his way to being the MVP of Adfinem.
Yeah, he's just involved in everything, and this, I feel like every time I watch this
game, but now Slark coming in, FN working onto Skylark, Slaughter trying to block, and FN forced to back out.
Come on, sprites.
Skylark can't die to Slark because that's like his name. Slark. Skylark. Haha.
It's actually...
I know.
Scan's like, now everybody hates me. It's hard. It's okay, could be worse. Beastmaster does have Necros level 2 on the way. For Slark here, he went straight for the blink. I'm unsure what's the correct build up here. We talked about Echo Saber being a possibility. We have a Chronosphere on top lane. Okay, we're never gonna get to Theorycroft or anything. Thug probably Deadzo.
Yeah, two teams that like to fight, so there's just lots of action in this game. I think Blink is fine. I think it's, gets online earlier, better for fighting. But I do think that he wants another item, regardless of what that item is. FN wants one more item before he's fully comfortable to just be constantly fighting. So it's a question to me of what Adfinem gets done before he gets that item, because I think when he does get to his next item, he's going to be very difficult for him to deal with.
I'm also, I mean, this is Templar's fifth death. We're talking about how she's been doing a good job of farming back up, but it's not feeling like it's going to be quite good enough. She's still having a lot of trouble. Do you just try to stall out like they did last game until she gets bigger, keep getting these tower pushes and pickoffs with Skylark?
Yeah, that's the plan. And they have unblocked their Ancients, they've started to stack them again. That'll help her. She's not that far out, I think. She's like one or two Ancient stacks and one successful gank or fight, and suddenly she's right up there with the Slark, I think. Can be kind of misleading, these gaps. It's a couple of thousand, it's not that much.
On the other hand, Slark does have a way to get more out of the map than anybody else can, of course, with the Midas. Oh, actually rotating a lot. They really want to keep their safe lane tower on Vega.
Yeah, well, it looks like Adfinem are just going to bring even more as well themselves, even though TA is coming. She's got, I believe, a blink, yeah, flying out to her. So
both sides know that the other is here. Oh, Slithering Crush lands on FN. Of course, he has the Dog Pact, but then there's the Silence. Tricks at the trades, the Force Stealth, and the Leap away. Saving his life.
Yeah, it's a pretty early Force Stealth, actually, for the Witch Doctor. Very useful to have.
I mean, he's been murdering the Templar Assassin over and over. There's also, it looks like, the Faceless Void coming from behind. They catch out Solo. Will they be able to bring her down? Yes, they can. Here comes no one. Jumping in. Primal Roar went out elsewhere. Where is the Chronosphere? It's happening on the back of the fight. He doesn't have it on cooldown. 2 more seconds. He'll manage to drop it, but Mag needs to get on out. Slaughter is right there on top of him. Slithering Crush going to be off the mark. Slock now coming in, causing a lot of problems for Thug. There's the Shallow Grave trying to keep him alive, but I think that this is just delaying the inevitable. And Thug will fall a 2 for 1.
Yeah, so good for them that Thug didn't actually have any gold this time. He'd bought his blink, so not losing that much. He does lose time that he could have spent farming. And obviously, like, if he had won the fight, he'd have gotten much more gold. But I don't know if it's that huge. I mean, the other deaths of the Ricky, they don't really care. Ricky's already, like, overachieved in this game. He's got pretty good farm himself. Yeah, there were 2 smokes in that fight, and both of those smokes did a lot of work. Almost every time I see Ricky cast a smoke screen, I just feel like it's doing insane work in this game. And it's a great point of comparison for a hero like Bouncy Hunter, because that's the one thing Bouncy just cannot do that Ricky can.
Oh, Madara gets a Slithering Crush onto FN. They know he's already used the Dark Pact. He'll use it again. Can they catch him? No such luck. And the paralyzing cost, we won't see a Dream Coil dropped. It's up in 1 second. I mean, we don't have a Chronosphere either, but it doesn't matter. They don't need it. They bring down the Dazzle pretty easily. They're trying to route them though. Maybe next time. Maybe we'll come in on this. But there it is. The Dream Coil. The smoke cloud. Smoke screen. Not doing enough this time. And Madara, he should be out just in time. Tricks of the trade. Just to help maybe next time get out of this. While this is all happening, of course, Skylark does take the top tower and starts work on the second. Primal Roar being thrown out onto Solo. Do they have the damage? This Untouchable doing so much work. And it looks like Skylark will just happily put Solo in an uncomfortable position before backing out.
Yeah, I did see Witch Doctor just bought a gem, so I think they're a little bit tired of this Ricky sneaking around in the enemy like back lines. And Ricky's a hero that's pretty easy to deal with if you do discover him with a gem. He doesn't really have a way to escape. You know, he can tricks of the trade to stall a bit. He could try and blink to ally if they're nearby, but if he's isolated and alone and you find him with a gem, you're gonna kill him.
Very true. For Slock roaming around here has the ultimate orb. This is... I really wonder whether he's going straight Scotty or doing the Silver Edge build up just because...
Yeah, he'll buy Scotty. I don't think you go Blink and Shadow Blade. It's very, very rare. So I think it will be the Scotty.
Makes a lot of sense. I just find it funny how Slock is like all ultimate orb items now. Pretty much.
There's always an ultimate orb. I mean, Slock's all about stats. He steals stats, he gets stats, he buys stats. He just loves stats.
Stats. Yeah, very much agreed. So, Ricky, oh, we have an engagement in the mid lane. It sounds like the Dream Coil was dropped. Templar Assassin going to be okay. They do pick off the Beast Master, so Skylark, MVP going down, but Slithering Crush, he doesn't quite hit everyone. Ricky comes into the fight, the smoke screen silencing up a lot of folks. There's the tricks of the trade, but not really able to hit anyone, so not getting the damage out of it. Solo also dominated the Necro 3. So all of that gone. Ricky now caught up here and brought down. It's back and forth, but it does feel like Vega coming out on top of most of these fights.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's the Beastmaster and the Ricky are causing trouble, and the Slaughter's causing some trouble. The Dazzle and the Tia are not managing to achieve that much. I feel like they're not getting it. You know, occasionally Dazzle can save someone, but they're not getting the really epic like turnaround because of the grave situation. Because the person who's dying is like a TA that's not even that strong anyway. So if you save her, she gets away. She doesn't like turn and kill everyone.
So for Finem, it does feel like similarly to last game, they just need to stop the bleeding. Vega's going to be very content to continue bringing the fight to them.
I just want to point out that it looks like Solo's buying a armlet on Enchantress.
Well, how many times has that been done?
Probably very few. I mean, I could sort of see it because this is a hero that's very difficult to kill with the heal and the untouchable, and add in some armlet jukes. It's probably one of the easiest heroes to armlet juke with because of how slowly people attack you. You could just like, as they're throwing the last hits, just do it like 5 times before they'd actually connect. But definitely very interesting. It's not a... I don't think I've seen the build before.
Well, you gotta have a first time for everything. Really interesting, as you said, that they use it in this game with so much on the line, but Vega feeling very comfortable for fighting.
They probably think it's a good build. I don't think he's like trolling. I think he thinks it's a good idea.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially against the lineup they're against. I think there's very little that can punish an omelet.
The smoke will come out from Adfinem. But it's on the complete opposite side of the map, and I think Skylark is fine here. Be a little bit careful.
FN's got his Scotty now, and this is kind of the timing I pointed to. I felt like that item that he gets after the blink, like, now he's going to become an absolute nuisance. It's going to be very difficult. If they catch him in like the stomp and the amp and the smoke, that's one thing, but...
Oh, they know! He jumps in! He doesn't manage to steal the Aegis, and he's in the smoke screen taking damage! He Blunk in there, not expecting the preemptive smoke screen. FN though now working towards onto Thug. Thug does have the Aegis already gone down. A nice death ward placed on the high ground. Ricky just gonna stand there, manages to smoke screen, doing a lot of damage with the tricks of the trade. Slock jumping through it. Will they be able to fight Thug, taking a lot of damage from that Maledict? Primal Roar gets immediately dog packed off by FN, and Skylark very low. One more auto attack. The Shallow Grave instead comes out. It does allow FN to steal more stacks, but maybe can keep him alive. The turnaround that bashes onto FN elsewhere. Ricky does end up going down, and again the team fight, it just doesn't feel like Adfinem can take it.
Yeah,
They're probably gonna lose Dazzle and more here. Madara doesn't have the mana, doesn't want to blink in Slithering Crush and die, and the rest of Adfinem need to back up.
The problem for Adfinem in that fight is they have to spend too much time committing to the Slark, and as it happens they don't even kill him, so they spend so much on him and achieve nothing. He's full HP, he's got most of his mana, and I think that the only way they deal with the Slark at this point involves the smoke screen. They need to... I mean, if they catch him in a chain roar and slaughter stomp without him using a pact, sure that'll work. But the reliable way for them to get those chain stuns off and the damage off is with the smoke screen. That's going to be pretty difficult to do since there's a gem on the pack. I thought, you know, as he blinked in towards the rush, but maybe they could have caught him. The smoke screen was cooling down still from when the Void had jumped in.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was good that they got the pick off on the Void, of course, but then you have the added issue of there was no follow-up fight, and it does feel like the Witch Doctor with the Death Ward doing so much work. Tima, already getting close. I mean, he has the super early 4-star. He picked up the point booster. He's doing incredibly well for a support Witch Doctor.
Yep. And Madara's bought a Reaver, so going straight into Heart, none of that BKB rubbish that starters usually buy. Just, you know, Slark's gonna steal my stats, I'll just get more stats.
One way to handle it. Mag being very aggressive because they have caught out Saspartan, just wants to get involved in the action. Shallow Grave coming out from Saspartan. We'll try to find a nice place to get on out. There's the Yules. Evil Fall.
Yeah, so introduction of the Enchantress Armlet. Difficult to say if it did much in that fight in particular, but it'll be revealed at least. I mean, I don't think Adfinem will be like, oh, Enchantress's Armlet, now you must itemize this way, but they'll know about it.
This is looking not the easiest for Adfinem. 26 minutes in, they're about 7,500 gold behind. Over 12,000 experience. That's part of what's really scary. They're just falling so far behind. On experience,
Yeah.
their team fight's just going to be worse. Maybe next time. Gotta be very careful around here. Gonna actually initiate out onto them. Drops the tricks of the trade. And Madara tries to jump in, get something to happen. He's silenced up though. Where's the Slithering Crush that he wants? He's already taken a lot of damage. And Maledict, the Chronosphere completely misses. Madara will fall. But the Chronosphere did its work. His team couldn't follow up. Templar Assassin forced to blink away. She still has a few refraction charges, but those will be going down quickly. Where's the Shallow Grave? They don't get it off in time. And they will continue forward. Slark gets the latch onto Saspartan, goes for the TP, but not likely that this is going to be happening with the Yules, and the rest of Adfinem just trying to push. Oh, actually Saspartan's still alive, but eventually does fall to the Enchantress.
This is kind of how I thought the last game would have gone, based on the early game. Like, Adfinem need to make kills. They have to relieve the pressure to turn the dynamic around, they need to make kills, but Vega Squadron are just together all the time, so there's no opportunity for like Beastmaster and Ricky and Slaughter to combine and catch people out, and as a result, Vega are just starting to snowball really hard.
Back onto Slaughter, again a Slithering Crush, unable to hit the mark. Skylark comes in, Primal Roar onto the puck, but where's the follow-up damage? Templar Assassin still dead. And she doesn't even have the Deso.
Yeah, so they defend their axes, but it includes a buyback of their carry, which would not be what they would have wanted to do. There's now a basher up on Slark, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, it's super difficult for them to kill in an actual fight, to kill Puck, to kill Void, to kill Slark, or to kill Enchantress. I feel like the Witch Doctor is the only hero they can potentially kill. Except in a situation where they like isolate a hero with lots of people and chain stun or smoke them.
Agreed. This Vega lineup just too difficult, and Ad Finem, they do not have the damage, and unlike last game, they had no catch-up mechanism for the Templar to get back into this game.
Yeah. I mean, there was a stage where it looked like she might be on her way back in, but since then she's kept dying and kept been zoning. They've kept zoning her out, not giving her space to farm. So it's gotten worse and worse. Like there was an opportunity where one or two good fights and suddenly she might be back in it, but it went the other direction, unfortunately for her.
Ricky, thinking about wave cutting, just trying to make it so that they don't get their racks pushed in, but Vega working on the bottom tier 2 instead. Do you think that they're hesitant about pushing high ground without a pickoff or Roche?
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
I think so. I think they'll know that it's not really necessary, so they can wait it out. They're in such a solid position right now. Like Vega just needs to not make any too big mistakes, and they should be able to close this game out. And I'm talking about, you know, splitting up and getting picked off. They just need to avoid that. Well, speaking of pickoffs, they're gonna make one on Thug here, I think, again.
Thug, yeah, the refraction charge is gonna get burned through. The Basher working out, and Thug goes down again.
By the way, Enchantress has an omelet, so Ricky's like, hey, me too, building into an omelet. It's just like omelet gaming today.
This is not the build I'm used to on Ricky Maru, I'm not gonna lie.
It isn't. It's not the usual build, but it's look, as a just general combat item, omelet is a very efficient
Oh, the
item.
aggressive jump in on the Slog using that gem just blows up the Ricky, and now gonna work on the racks. Obviously, Templar, she's forced to buy back, but can they even fight this? Slithering Curse manages to hit onto a few of them. Templar trying to get the side blades, but it doesn't matter. They've got Death Ward, they've got Chronosphere, 2 already dead, the Ricky as well. That's 4. That's gonna be a lane of racks, maybe even the tower in bottom. Skylark trying to pressure as much as he can. He almost gets the top tier 3. Actually gets it down to 31 health, so he could finish that off sometime, but do they have a way on Ad Finem of stopping their helps from losing 2 lanes?
No, Beastmaster's got raw, but he doesn't have Necros, so he can't do anything. Even though there's only 3 heroes, even though 2 went back to the base. Ricky's gonna spawn, Dazzle's gonna buy back. With the 3 of them, they might try something out, that's what it looks like.
Oh, Primal Roar, it's not quite enough. There's the Dream Coil, Puck even jumping in more aggressively. Maybe next time looking for someone trying to catch out FN. Tricks of the Trade gonna be completely off the mark. Ricky forced to jump back in. They still have the melee racks, but for how long? Slog coming back in, getting those essence stacks, essence shifts from the Spartan. Just gonna pick him off there, and now most likely the second lane of racks. Ad Finem just waiting on their respawns.
Void's come back in. Witch Doctor's not here yet, but it's 4 heroes again, and Slaughter
no.
jumps in.
He's trying to do work onto Mag, but it's just not enough. The Puck will jump in. Madara getting very low there.
They're all just out of mana. I think that, yeah, Vega need to go back because no one has any mana. Otherwise they would have been happy to keep fighting. The problem is when you... Slark is actually... When Slark gets to a point, so maybe I didn't make this clear earlier, what I was saying about Slark is it's really difficult for them to kill him. But it's really important when Slark gets to that point, because then what happens is when you go on him, he pulls out, heals all the HP back, you've wasted everything you did, and in like 3 seconds he jumps back in. It's something that like... That's the position you never want to be in against a Slark, that you can't kill him, because you still need to fight him. But he can just kite out, come back in, fully healed. It's like any part of the map where you don't have vision is the fountain to him. And that's a very difficult thing to fight against.
Additionally, always helping his team de-ward. Templar Assassin still doesn't have the Desolator.
Yeah, it's not been the game for Thug. And at this point, everyone else is falling. I mean,
oh, they managed to get the stun out onto FN. Primal Roar to follow it up. This could be the chance. They pick off the Slog. That's probably going to be over 2,000 gold swing when all is said and done. Whoa!
He doesn't have buyback. He's been buying out his butterfly, not a care in the world, didn't think he was at risk, and something similar happened last game actually. There was a big pick off, no buyback, and suddenly a side of racks, but This time around, looks like Adfinem a little bit nervous about doing that. Recognize that they could probably run into a fight where they lose anyway. Also, they don't know Slog doesn't have buyback. And if they were to commit to the rack, Slog buys back, they all die.
Everybody and their mother headed towards Roshan. The Dire know about it. They can see Adfinem moving in.
There's a chrono.
Yeah, there is a chronosphere. He manages to get it off. There's the Death Ward bouncing around. This may be the final fight. Can Adfinem do anything here? They will all be dead. GGs are cold. The series is split 1-1, but as you said, I believe this puts Vega in a beautiful position to be going through to the next part of these qualifiers.
Yeah, so that's gonna put Adfinem up to 4-2, I believe, and Vega up to 5-1. Obviously, they both still have a match. Vega Squadron have to play against Rebels, I believe, and Adfinem have to play against Virtus Pro. Depending on what happened in Virtus Pro versus Spirit, it could be quite likely that both of these teams still make it through the group. But yeah, we'll have to see. It depends on the further results.
Very true. Once again, folks, I'm Llama Down Under. I've been joined by Scanso. You can find both of us by those names on Twitter. Any and all feedback on how to make the casting better for you. And we'll see you. I think the next game will start as soon as possible, but I do not know if Rebels are free right now. I don't believe Rebels is in a game, so we should be starting pretty soon. We'll see you right quick. Please enjoy the break.